In almost every corner of this island, unfolded is a picture of natural beauty and vibrant community life, where gentle breezes dance through lush greenery, carrying with them the scent of tropical blooms. Amidst this paradise, the community of Spa Hill emerges as a serene oasis, a testament to the island's harmonious blend of scenic beauty and warm hospitality. Some sections of Spa Hill offer panoramic views of beautiful landscapes, inviting us to immerse ourselves in tranquil ambience. As friendly residents warmly welcome visitors to this paradise community, in every corner, the spirit of Barbadian culture thrives, weaving a rich tapestry of tradition, music, and flavor that captivates the senses and ignites the soul. Welcome to my community, Spa Hill. I'm Sherwood McCaskey. It is here where the timeless charm of Barbados unfolds in every breathtaking view. At the lower entrance to this community is Cane Garden. It is here where we came upon Ian Lowe, who loves his community.
I wouldn't trade it for anything else. When I wake up, I hear the birds chirping. Well, I can literally reach out and pick a breadfruit. Got coconuts, got friendly neighbors. So it's beautiful, and the ambience is nice. The bamboo trees, the wind. These ducks here, they aren't mine. Cats aren't mine, but all animals will find this home because my mom, she was a good cook. And she raised, she has 6 children, but she raised 5 of us herself, basically. She would make sugar cakes, sauce, which traditional sauce. She would go on the corner, Cane Garden corner. That corner was a livelihood. You have persons coming from Trail Path, Chapman Village, Belle Plaine, even the Spa, Sugar Hill, Chalky Mount, White Hill. So the same Cane Garden was like a hub for St. Andrew, actually, because Belle Plaine persons would come through. Although a peaceful neighborhood, we would have fairs, dances. In Fort Lauderdale, there was a place called the Sweet Jessamine, later the Club Ventum, or vice versa. But that was a dance house where persons from all St. Andrew would come and dance. And we had another guy named Dolphus. He was like the bouncer back in the day. Any trouble? Dolphus, he told me himself he would clear the dance hall, take a bench, and everybody out. After that, we had St. Cyri's had a 4-H group with whole fairs, and the persons from Belle Plaine, which would be like traditional bad boy areas, but when they came to Cane Garden, they had to humble themselves because we have 1 or 2 guys that would be police, but would protect the neighborhood. And once they see those guys around, no badness, no bad play, they would respect and behave themselves. But the friendliness, the ambience was always there, so persons felt safe coming to enjoy themselves in the Cane Garden area. I talk about entertainment, the hunts, and friendship. They were holding enough parties. There was a group, a band, probably one of the better bands in Barbados, Destiny. They would hold parties, you know. I remember my great-grandfather, Solomon Lowe, although he was I think the youngest of probably 8 or so. His older brother wanted to go up Panama, but his father wouldn't let the older brother go unless Solomon went. And they returned, and all this land there, you know, is well. It was Solomon and James. They bought the land. And they told me some time back in history, from the same struggle buggy, right there to the wars, at some point, that was Lowe's land. All the Lowe's held that land or something like that. Summer was crayfish, roast and breadfruit. Mangoes, apples, golden apples, going at the sea, East Coast. Like I said, in the river fishing, running a boat, playing cricket, football, just having fun. Sometimes your belly's so full and you got back home, you don't want your mother food anymore. She quarreling, but a whole day out, you're having fun, eating, like I said, the fruits, roasting, breadfruit, eating crayfish, just having fun and getting on your belly full. Sucking cane too. I think, yeah, you will get cane sometimes around the vacation too. She also told me a story about the first airplane. I don't know if it's the first that landed in Barbados, but his pa had an airplane also. So there was this guy, I can't remember, his name was Hartley. So when his mom, he was from the Coggins area, when his mom saw the airplane in the air, she said, oh Lord, look where the master got the hardest boy got the master truck now. So that's a story I heard.
Here lies the importance of the oral tradition, retaining knowledge of your community and ensuring that that knowledge is passed on to future generations. And thanks to Ian Lowe having shared it with us, it has now become part of not just the collective memory, but the national memory of Barbados. Our discussion on social history will continue, but let us join Anthony Nichols and Curtis, who are seated on higher grounds and, in a sense, looking down on us. They will speak of the original St. Bernard's Primary School.
I went to school. Most of my schooling went on at St. Bernard's Boys School, the old school, not this one here, right? Until age 14.
St. Bernard's Primary School. It was divided up in boys and girls, I can remember. The school at the time was again tucked away in what you will call an unforsaken part of St. Joseph. A lot of trees, the atmosphere was misty and cold, and should I say damp. But we were tucked away in that area and we were able to come out as good craftsmen of our fair land. That school used to service all of these areas that were just mentioned: Parks Road, Coconut Grove, Melrose Hill, Chimborazo, Sugar Hill, Melvin's Hill, Spa Hill. That school. We had a pastor, and we used to run our 100 meters from the bottom of the school gate to the junction where the road, that was our 100 meters dash. Opposite that other sprawling property that you can still see there, you had the deans. And the deans, the old man, he was the head master. So he used to come down his little driveway and just walk across in his jacket and his strap. Not his strap, his little cane. There were many educators in the dean's family, dean's household. There were many educators emerged. If you go back now to St. Bernard's Village, you will find one of the generations of Mr. Dean. And she too evolved to be a headmistress. Her name is Beryl Dean. And to this day, she still teaches those of our offspring into music and other disciplines to this day.
Once a teacher, always a teacher. Now, today when we need to shop for groceries, of course, our people make their way to the People's Market in True the Bridge. But prior to that establishment being opened, and at a time when Spa Hill was more populated with community members, they patronized.
Matt Henry, he had a shop on top of his Spa up by the heights. That was a shop, yeah. As a boy, you would go there for kerosene, maybe you call it goods. And the way I remember about Mac, I convinced that he could have wrapped liquid water then in paper and it wouldn't leak. I convinced he would wrap so neat, cheese, butter, whatever. And when he wrap it, he give you that package to take. I convinced water would not pour from how Matt Henry would wrap these things. He was a master at it. But later he moved on, and his shop was there in Border Hall then.
Okay.
But we had a number of shops in this area.
Remember them?
Jack Paris, he had a shop. Vinny had a shop. And incidentally, the Rockland, Miss Rock, who owned the Rockland Bus Company, she kept a shop for J.A. Truder at the bottom. R.L. Lee, yeah, and the Struggle Bugby, Greenwich. I convinced he has some connection with sweetie companies, because he has some unique sweeties that you won't find anywhere else in Barbados. I convinced. When you traverse Bridgetown, wherever you don't see these sweeties other than at Struggle Buggy, Greenwich. And he also made snuff. He grown the tobacco leaves, and the elderly people, they were saying for this stuff, you know. They like to knock, keep your nostrils clear. There's a girl, Danny, when she was, she had special needs, so the bus would come and turn there. It's interesting about transportation, because there was probably the biggest excursion, because this is a small area but unique, and certain things don't coming back. Cameron Gibbs, he died last year. It was him and Sam Pond from Bethlehem who had to meet the biggest excursion in Barbados. We have buses leaving Bush Hall, I think even Spikestone, because Cameron was a bus driver and Sam Pond was a conductor. So as a little boy, that was the biggest excursion. And that left down there, and sometimes when it came back late, the bus would come, you know, people with baskets, taking off the baskets, and then they will go back. Now talk about baskets. It's another story where the older people on market day Saturday with the big baskets. So the story now, Miss Seeley, she would have bananas. So this boy, you know, it was a vet. We had vets, you know, youngsters. So he felt he was strong. So he went with one hand to lift up Miss Seeley's basket. And when he got here, he had to use both hands. So he was wondering how a woman, Miss Seeley was said, well, give me a hand, huh? And put it on her head, and she got him. But he thought he was strong. So he tried to lift Miss Seeley's basket. And realized then that he really is strong after all.
The physical strength of a woman should never be underestimated. The late Mrs. Seeley clearly demonstrated that here in her community of Spa Hill. Now, the provision of spiritual guidance and nourishment were vital to community members.
At the top of the spa, there's one in kindergarten. At the bottom, the Wesleyan, the Anglican, and the Pentecostal, or 3 churches. We went to church and going midnight mass, but as a little boy, you're going with your mom. But obviously, if you had to go by yourself, you ain't going, because you see them duppies and then stories that you ain't want to pass there alone. But the same service now, when you pass in the graveyard from St. Fort Lord duppies. So you ain't walking past there, you're running. Because after practice, we go and watch them. Probably Sundays midnight gone and you walk in. So don't care if it's a group of 20 or not, from the time you meet the church wall, you can run till you pass the other end, which is about 25 meters or so. But that was fun. I was sent for some chicken. A funeral was going on, so curious, I followed the funeral up in the graveyard, and I looking in till I got back home and told my mom where I went with the chicken. Obviously, she didn't want that chicken, you know.
That's how you get licks too.
Well, I can't remember if I got licks. I don't think I got licks, lashes, but I think I got scolded. But like I said, it was fun for me, just following innocently. And we would leave down here in St. Kindergarten and go to Trail Path, which I mentioned Matt Henry. He had a sister named Millie. Bait sweet bread and some lead pipes, where you normally get. And lead pipes were hard, you know. But we had to traverse, and that was about probably 1 kilometer or so. But it had another dangerous or from Fort Law, like this Murray old house with bamboos. But for some reason, it'll be quiet. And as you go past, you hear creaks or something. You ain't hear nothing before, but as you pass, you hear creaks. So that was fun for us too. So we would walk past there, and we would run past there. So, and that was fun for us. So that is some stories that I remember also.
We've said it many times in this series, memory is our major link to the past. And in building a collective and a national memory, this series, My Community, relies heavily on people's memory. We thank Sylvia Lowe for sharing her memory with her son Ian Lowe, who has subsequently shared it with us. Now back to more stories of the supernatural.
Just there by the track, apparently there was a story, well, mystical. A struggle ensued. A guy, he died eventually, but on his way, because there was a cat road from the bottom and it would end here. So apparently somewhere along the road, he was almost to the top, but yeah, some struggle ensued and they never knew what happened, but you could see signs of a struggle and he died. So that was one of the stories, but you will hear the steel donkey stories. And my mom, she told me a story, because back in the day, television, you know, 1 or 2 homes had television, so you would go out their houses. Another shop was Miss Sorber's, so she was at Miss Sorber's shop with her grandmother. Her grandmother went on, but she was fascinated by television, still watching. So she said no, when she was there, we had the hill, we just came, we called it the foothill. So on her way up, she thought she saw an image of her grandmother going the opposite way. So she said, yeah, how come she going that side? So she followed. And then she went through the little river, we call it Little River Bottom. But somewhere along the line, she lost sight of her. And then she came back. But obviously, what people talk about duppy, so it was a duppy. And they had other stories about the steel donkey. You would hear this noise, but you didn't see anything. So there were stories.
I remember it used to be just raise the hill there, it used to be Obeah Man and Stephen C.
Yeah, in the mystical we call it high science, but I heard about him, yeah. But you mentioned C, but I understand there was another guy, and at something they had a battle or something like that, you know, with the high science. We had another man named Osman Lewis, but I know. Apparently, this is a story I knew, I witnessed, well, not witnessed myself. There was a fight between Lewis and another family. So the story is that Lewis got dressed up in a certain attire, went somewhere, came back, and from that day on, a family member was disillusioned. So if there's any truth to it, I don't know what happened, but from that day on, this particular guy was disillusioned. So there might be some truth in these stories we hear, folklore stories we hear. I remember a teacher, he's now deceased, but he would leave at a certain time and collect the same struggle buggy, Mr. Greenwich. And apparently they went to their secret meeting. They said Greenwich, but we knew Greenwich was not to be feared, because we understood he was like the usher or the gate man. He wasn't really involved in the mystical thing. So we weren't afraid of Greenwich. We had some, we would call preachers or some mystical persons that would dress in white, come around the neighborhood preaching. There was a lady, Miss Pierce, she was one of them. And there were some from the St. Thomas area, but it would drive the fear of God in you, because when you saw those persons come around, you're fearful that somebody in the neighborhood can pass. And it so happened, it was always truthful. So once you saw those persons coming preaching, look out, you're frightened. You just hoping you are a family member, you know for sure that somebody going. And recently, I saw one at the bottom, and I understood a guy we know, he passed. So there's some truth to it. And there's always that mystical and spiritual connection. They would say they would get the messages from God, and they would come about and share it. Some persons would take heed, some would ignore, but I know for a fact when I was younger, I know something will happen, even though it's still happening. So there's always that spiritual connection with some persons that just get the direct message and just share it. And we sometimes ignore it. I know it's hard because in relaying the Christ story, if you really believe it, I understood no way persons would not want to hear him, because obviously he was of humble upbringing. He was a nobody, actually, an average man. He wasn't from a palace or anything, so obviously nobody can take his words. So I could understand sometimes why some persons would not take heed or want to listen to an ordinary man with a message.
In 2021, Reverend Mark Clement, in speaking of his community mile and a quarter, he discussed the wayside, or the itinerant preachers who enter the community, stood on the wayside and preached. Now on to stories of Ida and the bold stance she took in defense of a family member.
Ida, she's a Belgrave. She was related to my grandfather. So she told me that she was powerful, you know, not afraid to represent. So she told me her dad was in the ground, working the ground, I think was cutting cane, or, you know, and her sister Hela went to Tuckersville, what people call breakfast, and made their lunch for him. But the rich server, I can't remember if it was a manager or who, but he had a summons or something for the father. So he prevented, no, he had for the same Hela. So he prevented her, and she said, well, I just want to carry my father lunch. And he said, no, I'm going to arrest you, and held on to her. So Ida was there, and Ida represented. She told me she put some licks in him, because she said he was unreasonable. She could at least let the girl carry his father lunch. So that's what she said. She had to offense and represented, and took some lashes in him. And Ida had a, what we call roasty. I don't think you'll make it anymore, but her specialty was roasty. My older brother Tyrone, he was the agent. She would always make sure she got a large enamel cup. And she was married to what we would call back in the day Penny Smith, right? He was also a shoemaker too. A man named Catlin. Okay, so we had, and back in the modern now, they told me now, Soupy King, the best draft player in the world, told me that he actually got some lessons from in this Border Hall area. Because we had a guy there near them, Arthur Corbin. He was good at the game. Another guy there, Presley, they were good. So they told me, they taught Suki a thing or two. He probably might, I don't think he would deny it, but they told me he would come down here and play a draft.
It is one of the more popular sporting activities in Barbados today, and interestingly enough, it was done right here in Spa Hill.
Well, she told me the first hill sprints, Carresa hill sprints, were held in the Spa. I know as a boy I would know the night rally, the June rally would pass through. Yeah, it's interesting because as children, I wonder how any of us ain't got an October or anything. And sometimes as late up to 1, 2 o'clock. Obviously it would be night sometimes, it'll coming up. Obviously it would be better, I think, but sometimes in the day too they will come through speeding. And I think we had one guy from the area, Lil Man. I think he actually would participate in the same rally. I think he had a Datsun 120Y. He came from this area, same city, that was his mom, but he later moved to St. John. So yeah, we enjoyed it. Was stay and watch on. I remember especially the same corner where it was a hive activity. When they came and they turned into the corner, that was excitement for us also. And I think the rally guys, they love this area too. The motocross will come on Sundays too, so Spa is traditionally a nice area. I know the tourists will come here in Spa, they will come looking for a health spa, yeah. I know the hikers love it.
Hikers now use Spa Hill as a testing point, so to speak. People want to, if you decide, a friend invite you to hiking and you decide that you're going to brag of how fit you is and how much time you go in the gym and he really wants to prove you, he probably would take you to Spy Hill. Unfortunately, now as we speak, there is a lot of deterioration in the hill. So no one can drive from the description I just gave you from Cane Garden at the bottom all the way to the top where you meet Melvin Hill anymore. There's been land slippage and land movement. You can hike, you can walk, but you cannot drive all the way up anymore. And I don't know if anything will be done about it because there's still a couple of residents within the hill that still uses it. Well, it's their home, so they still use it, have to access their transportation and what's not from there. But basically, that's in a nutshell, Spy Hill and what its relationship with the hikers and its relationship with hiking. The significance also is that I've come to realize that very few Barbadians know Barbados. And it's okay if you're in your car and you're driving down the East Coast Road or you're driving down Highway 2A or something. They can tell you that, they can get there, and as long as you take them out of their car and put them on their 2 feet and put them on the interior of Barbados, then they are completely lost. They're flabbergasted with what they can see, the beauty of Barbados from that perspective, and the amount of hiking trails that we have in Barbados. People don't know. A lot of them know the popular ones, like the train hike that goes from Bridgetown to Belle Plaine, and most of them use the most popular area of that is from Bath to Bathsheba, which you still see remnants of the old train bridges and the old train track and what's not. So that is popular. But all the interior in Barbados, if you take the Scotland district, which starts from St. John, and you take that ridge that St. John Parish Church is on, and you go all the way down through Newcastle, all the way down to Hackerton Cliff, and you go all the way down to the same East Coast Road, Bissex, Chalky Mount, all the way down. It's wonderful to be there. It is amazing that the things you can see and know, and you can take pictures. And most hikers, regardless of the group, the hike leaders are fairly knowledgeable. And they would, if you ask questions, they would answer them, and they would try to fill you in with the history. This is important. Barbados has become a country of people who just litter. And you would be amazed at the places that you would go and travel that is way out of the way, that someone just found it and dumped garbage there. And I think that too will make you aware of what not to do. So I think those are mainly the benefits of it. But like I said before, to repeat myself, it's healthy, it's free. The flora and fauna of Barbados that you normally won't see driving up and down, you get to see. You get to interact with people of all different walks of life.
And that too is experienced right here in Spy Hill. Well, that concludes our mini-series on this community. My name is Sherwood McCaskey. Here is a special invitation for you to join us again next week at the same time. In the meantime, do take good care of yourself and look out for the interests of your neighbors.